just thought I'd read it to you. Even so, come. This is an invitation, and if we look closer, it is also an interesting sentence. It has a ring of just as I am, yet it is more ominous to me than that domesticated version. Somehow there is a hidden warning in it, so it begs the question, what does it mean? I would like to explore with you what this invitation might feel like at the ground level. I'm not really a straight shooter when it comes to expressing myself. I am learning to widen out these circles of thought within me, ever more slowly and intentionally, and I'm especially trying to keep them tight. Hopefully tight enough that they resonate as connected. Stories really have taught me most of what I have come to know and understand, and I am loath to spend too much time explaining them away. I would simply like to lay the table for you all and extend my heartfelt hospitality to taste and see and let the stories speak for themselves. A favorite poet of mine, David Whyte, wrote a poem titled Revelation Must Be Terrible. A typical take for a poet. Only the poet would dare to marry terror to hope. The poet, one who sees the cost, and one who is in a fairly constant state of both mourning and joy at the same time. I think that's also a good description of marriage in general. Terror married to hope. Here is David Whyte's poem. Revelation must be terrible with no time left to say goodbye. Imagine that moment, staring at the still waters with only the brief tremor of your body to say, you are leaving everything and everyone you know behind. Being far from home is hard, but you know at least we are exiled together. When you open your eyes to the world, you are on your own for the first time. No one is even interested in saving you now. And the world steps in to test the calm fluidity of your body from moment to moment, as if it believed you could join its vibrant dance of fire and calmness and final stillness. As if you were meant to be exactly where you are, as if, like the dark branch of a desert river, you could flow on without a speck of guilt, and everything everywhere would still be just as it should be. As if your place in the world mattered, and the world could neither speak nor hear the fullness of its own bitter and beautiful cry, without the deep well of your body resonating in the echo. Knowing that it takes only that one terrible word to make the circle complete. Revelation must be terrible, knowing you can never hide your voice again. We are all called to participate. It is an invitation that brings with it both terror and hope, a deep, dark forest of possibilities that will either kill us or kill us. There aren't really any other ways around that part. This invitation invites us into renewal, which is code for destruction. A quote from Goethe, quote, the basic quality of the living unity is to divide itself, to unite itself, to flow into the general, to remain in the specific, to transform itself, to specify itself, and like the living, may make itself obvious under 1,000 different circumstances, to break forth and to vanish, to solidify and to melt, to freeze and to flow, to expand and to contract. Since all of these effects occur in the same time moment simultaneously, all and everything can happen at the same time. Arising and expiring, creating and destroying, in the same sense and the same way. Therefore, the specific, which is occurring, appears always as a picture and analogy of the general, unquote. I think when we get glimpses of God, it is precisely when we see the specific and the general, as Goethe calls it, bound together. I believe that what binds them together is beauty, wisdom, Sophia. It is Sophia who binds, and in those moments, those numinous glimpses, we have a sense of where we belong. Everything in us rises up toward the divine. These experiences give us a sense of both multiplicity and unity at once, and this sense, more like a vibration, results in a resonance between the two. From this place of in-betweenness comes the invitation, an Aeolian harp played upon by the wind. The spirit blows where it will. I'm thinking about Noah right now. He alone somehow was chosen to get the memo about a great flood coming. It must have burdened him immensely. Why would he have to know this? I'm sure he asked himself this question. It is not an easy task to be, quote, the knower of a big thing in a world of other people who are also conscious. It's sort of unsurprising that when it was over, he decided to get drunk. For Noah, it was destruction. For the earth, it was renewal. Revelation must be terrible. The longer I think about these things, the more determined I am to live, to really live, for there is nothing like this invitation. The Theotokos also comes to mind, as does John the Baptist. Quote, "Are you the coming one, or do we look for another?" He asks. He asks this of his cousin, Christ. He asks it from a prison cell. A wild, locust and honey-eating man raised in a cave by angels, sitting in a prison cell. For John, this renewal looked like destruction. And then John lost his head. Maybe that's the key. Revelation must be terrible. Let's not get downhearted now. Let's not lose hope. Let's look to the hills from whence cometh our help. The 1,000 hills that shelter and feed the Lord's cattle, the cattle he owns, not the cattle we think we own. This is not about scarcity, but rather abundance, abundant life, and that is terrifying. We always stand at an edge or a threshold between those two, and God asks us to choose life. I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about. I wanted to put it off, to let others speak who were perhaps more encouraging. But I decided to risk it because, well, it's terrifying. As a young woman with no future and a dismal past, I was invited once to choose life. I was 19 years old, far from home and pregnant. The father of my child asked me to get an abortion, and I knew immediately that I couldn't do that. I told him never to ask me that question again. It diminished him. After that conversation, he decided to send me on my way. I was alone, but at the same time not alone. I had always felt alone, but this time it weighed down on me in ways I can't even begin to describe. I wrote a poem about it then. It goes like this. Upon rising this evening, I went to my window. Oh, what my eyes did see. Darkening slowly, the clouds slithered by, the pines whispering secrets to me. I looked past a branch where a little bird sat. I looked past barns and a poplar tree. Over the hill yawns a great abyss. I feel something beckon to me. A raven sits carelessly pruning his plume. His eyes wander aimlessly round. Startled, he suddenly takes into flight. Now circling shadows surround. I hear his great wings as he passes me by. I hear them inside of my room. His throaty cry in the dimming light, on the eve of the fullest moon. His cackling laughter is filling the night. It rumbles the stars in my sky. Everything falls like the tear on my cheek, all of me questioning why. Away, be gone, you devious bird, shaking my fist to the sky. A moment ago I felt I was glad, and now in this moment I die. Given a soul, given a life, now it's a pound of flesh. Thinking, at last I've built it, and finding I've only regressed. I stretch my soul up to the raven, in a plaintive cry to the moon. I'll fly away with this bird, as the dish ran away with the spoon. As you can tell, I didn't know where I was going, hence the great mystery. Where did the dish and the spoon run away to? I'd always wanted to know that when I was a child. This poem reflects great loss, even destruction, and that great yawning abyss was my next destination at the time. It's a very long story, one that meanders a lot, but eventually it brought me life. Life in the form of a tiny babe who literally had nowhere to lay her head. The future was very uncertain, but was it? Because as I said, he owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, not me. And all of that terror brought great renewal into my life, because I said, even so, come. I don't know what this invitation means to all of you. I know it sounds nice, and it is. Sorry. I'll get there. But I can only know what it meant for me and continues to mean, and I don't underestimate it. God is terrifying. It's why we can't see his face. And the wonderful thing about apocalypse, and the wonderful thing about being a Christian is apocalypse. Revelation must be terrible. I would like to close with a poem I wrote about the oldest known musical instrument, a little geeky moment here, made by human hands. A flute made from the hollow bone of a bird. I think it belongs here because the desire to make song is the desire to live. Not only that, it is beautiful and it is wise. Man trills his song from the bone of a triller. Man created for song, bone created for song, both hollow. Holding us in the green dream of springtime in the dead of winter, there, starved and starved of song, trilling with anticipation, dancing towards an afterlife filled with abundance, life after death. Bird-bone flute, the continuous song, because only continuous praise is true. Bird-bone flute, eternal one, you make us upright, steadfast as pillars. Bird-bone flute, hidden in the body of beauty incarnate, winged ones, angels. The man tramples death by death within bodies of death until the song is resurrected. Winged one, bringer of song, continuous praise because only continuous praise is true. Bird-bone flute. Thank you.